Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I'm really glad you're here. Today's date is Saturday, May 27th, 2023. And I noticed in the news today that there was information that the person seen as our current head of the Catholic Church, the Pope, his health is failing. He's been in and out of the hospital with respiratory infection and other things going on, but let's take a look at a compilation I've got and talk a little bit more about again, the person seen in the public eye as the Pope and his upcoming demise. Okay. As always, this link I'm sharing will be a Facebook link in the video description box. If you'd like to look at these items further, it's by no means a complete compilation of all the information that's out there about the current supposed Pope, but it's what I have for this video. Okay, one second. Okay, so iSource News declared, and I didn't find other more mainstream items that were using this headline, that the Pope's on deathbed, he's gravely ill and might not make it according to our sources, that it's a developing story. I did find several sources that talked about how he had a fever and had canceled some appearances or supposed appearances. Okay, here is CBK News. Has a picture. The Pope, the People's Pope. The Pope isn't what he seems. I thought that was very articulate without saying too much. Why do I say it's articulate? Let's keep going here. First of all, the Pope has appeared in 17 posts. Here's one. The Pope will be having a terrible May, and it is still May, folks. The Pope will be having a terrible May. He says it twice. Okay? Okay. And then this kind of seems to be connected. Tell us, Q, how many are connected to the Rothschilds? The chair serves the master. Who is the master? Okay. Okay, I don't claim to know all the ins and outs of that particular drop, but maybe some of my viewers do, or you will want to just speculate on a little further. Now, as far as I'm concerned, it's undeniable that in recent years, the Pope has been either CGI productions or being played by other people. Here is a comparison of an actor that is said to be at some point in time playing the part of Pope Francis. Jonathan Pryce, Pope Francis, and then a comparison of their ears. Okay, facial structures are somewhat similar. Okay, now Pope's a controversial figure, and it said, I'm sorry this doesn't enlarge bigger, but if you notice this pose he's got, it tends to show some allegiance that's not very holy. And this was from a 17 drop 547. Okay, it's the door to a complete understanding of the Antichrist agenda and to the identification of the real tyrants and owners hiding behind kings and dogma and who, with Lucifer's help, have enslaved mankind for centuries. Okay, now I'm not making anti-Semitic comments here, but the ties of Khazarian mafia who hide behind the Jewish faith are absolutely Luciferian. So let's be clear about that, okay? There are good people who are Jewish. I have no problem with those. But the entities that hide behind that faith, who actually do rituals with plasma fluids, things like that, and sacrifices, yeah, those I have a problem with. Absolutely, we all should. Not going to apologize for it. Now, the reason I think that the Pope is long gone, there was a little mix-up on live TV 3 years ago. This is actually still on YouTube. It wasn't at the top of the feed, but I was still able to find it. The live TV disappearance of the Pope. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Ooh, live TV, folks. So it seems to me pretty obvious that the gentleman had a CGI effect that wasn't well executed. If you don't mind, I'd like to continue that share screen. There were a few more items I wanted to share with you before we ask the tarot a question. And let's get back to that. It'll still be part of that same compilation. 1 second. Okay, there has been a lot of prophecy involving the Pope and speculation, both from the prophecy of St. Malachi and Nostradamus, that this Pope is the last Pope. I'll let you make up your mind on that for that yourself, okay? I did find it very interesting that the wording of St. Malachi and Nostradamus seems to be quite similar as far as when it's discussed. So you may want to do that comparison yourself. So if the alt media chatter and information that the Pope has actually been processed is long gone, but that it was done behind the scenes, then the prophecy that he'd be the last one, that there would be destruction of the structures of the Vatican, and we've had a lot of alt media chatter about what satanic buildings could be expected to be dealt with by direct energy weapons. To me, it seems to all be moving towards a common theme, that our world is changing, that evil, even in the highest places, is being or has been dealt with, and that we're coming up on a time when the change will be obvious even to our beloved normies. And the prophecy about Pope Francis being the last Pope may actually end up being accurate. Let's ask the cards, okay? All right. Now, again, knowing that for several years, there have been actors, CGI, other people playing the part of the Pope. I'll have to be very careful so that the universe knows of what we're asking about. So the papal office that is currently seen to be occupied by Pope Francis, or the person seen in the public eye as Pope Francis, like insights and information about, are we getting close to the announcement that the Pope has passed on, and what changes can be expected when that happens? Let's see what the cards have to say. Hopefully I've phrased an accurate question. Okay, so are we getting close to an announcement that the person seen in the public eye on this timeline as Pope Francis is going to be announced as passed away, and what can be expected when that happens? I'll find out when you do. Hang on. I said I'll find out when you do because the universe does not like to be asked the same question multiple times. It can be rephrased a little differently, and you can go at it from a slightly different angle. But I try to save the actual questions and the viewing of the cards for my time with you folks. So let's find out, like I said, together, what information and news we have about, are we getting close to that announcement that the Pope has passed away, and what can be expected when that happens. Okay, we have the Fool, 7 of Swords, Page of Cups, 6 of Wands, 9 of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, and the 4 of Swords. Okay, we were asking about the person seen in the public eye as the Pope, and is his demise going to be announced soon? And I think we're getting a yes here with the Fool showing up, because the Fool is starting out on a new path, a new path. And we were asking what happens to the church when this happens, okay? First of all, there's been some shenanigans involved. There was allowances made for and reasons on the part of both the Vatican and the White Hats for why the appearance of someone still being the Pope has been allowed to go on. It has not been as successful as they hoped. Good, because we Anons needed to kind of be aware that we weren't looking at a real 1.0 version, and people needed to slowly see those anomalies and notice the discrepancies and have those kind of jar them out of their programmed slumber. Okay, now Page of Cups shows up in the recent past. Okay, that's a pleasant surprise card, and often one showing some creativity. So they thought they were pretty creative with the ways that they've had the Pope make appearances, things like that. But the fact of the matter is, the gift to us is that, yes, he is already gone. Okay, now, the present, it's not going to make the worldwide ripples that the mainstream media is going to tell us it has. There's a lot of people who have lost faith in the Catholic Church, even if they haven't in their loving Creator, their Trinity, not at all. Okay, but there's a lot that's actually going to be, when this demise happens, it's going to be in conjunction with so many other things that are good that it's really not going to have the effect and the ripple effect that the mainstream says we need to worry about. When do we ever need to worry about all the stuff the mainstream media tells us about? It's the stuff they tell us not to worry about, we should worry about. Don't worry, globalism will be good for you. Don't worry, a cashless society is a way to go. Hey, aren't 15-minute cities marvelous? Give up your freedom and live in one. Oh, well, we're going to rezone you so you do, even if you don't move to one. All those things that they tell us are wonderful are the things we need to be pushing back on. Okay, now looking in the near future, okay, this is a card, the Nine of Wands, shows a lot of determination, okay? Some battles are being fought. There are going to be some fights for beliefs and faith, okay? And I see this not so much as a hand-to-hand type of thing, but people struggling to realign their faith with the things they find out now are true. As truths come out about the Vatican, about what has happened under, in, and in the name of their church that they love, there's going to be a lot of healing that's needed. And again, a lot of reconciling faith to facts, which can be done. It absolutely can be done. And it will be done by millions of people. Okay. We get a little reassurance of that with the Queen of Pentacles showing up here, because she's about tranquility and security. So there is going to be a secure faith available for people that can incorporate new facts and information with existing facts, that we have a loving Creator, that we can have a relationship with that Creator, that we are loved by that Creator, that we are joined with that creative force in marvelous and wonderful ways that have been hidden from us. Absolutely. And again, a little reassurance about that, because the Four of Swords shows up that there's not only hidden blessings, okay, so we've had blessings and blessings, but these are kind of hidden blessings that are going to, we may not be aware of right now. So again, I think people have some resilience and resources and ability to adapt that the mainstream has tried to program us into believing we don't have, and we actually really do. So again, that reconciling facts and truth with faith can be done without the structures, or with changing structures. Okay, let's get a couple more cards for information. We have the Eight of Cups and the Three of Wands, indicating that there's going to take a little time to get that reconciling done. People are going to feel a little bit lost, like they need to turn away and just have that time to contemplate, to reassess, to evaluate what works for them as far as their faith system. And when they do, though, they're going to be looking at the world in a whole new way. The path is going to be really clear, because I can tell you from personal experience, it is very possible to have an alignment of faith and facts that we're talking about or alluding to here. Okay, that structures have not been wholly and beneficial that we hoped they were or were taught they were, but still and through it all, there is a creative, loving force that we can align ourselves with and have a relationship with. And I see that moving forward, there will be more relationships going on, not so much structural adherence. Okay, we got the Empress, loving maternal energy showing up. And again, we know that as our world changes and it changes for the positive, part of that process is the divine feminine coming into balance. Right now, we've been out of balance with the divine masculine for so long because, okay. And that's going to come into play here, which is going to help a future that's more peaceful and bright, having that balance. It's just like being in a home where there's no strife. There's a love and a united front for raising the children and facing challenges of life. It's always easier to do it in an equal yoked situation, a partnership where there's equal. And we're coming up on that. We are. It's nothing to fear. It's being fought. Okay. And again, where I say there's nothing to fear, with the Nine of Cups, that's a card of very good satisfaction. So we're getting a lot of information, satisfaction, prosperity, security. The church will survive, but it's going to be very, 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 very different, very different. And so will many avenues of faith. That's as it should be. We're in a time of change, but it's always a change for the better. Okay, let's recap. We were asking if the person currently viewed in the public eye as Pope Francis, his demise is imminent to be announced, that he's passed, and what changes can be expected when that announcement happens. Now, with the Fool showing up as the situation card, and the Fool is about a new journey, I think that we are very close to getting that announcement, very close. And I'm saying close in human reckoning, okay? But the tarot cards don't give you an exact, they're not good for exact pinpointing dates, all right? So yes, we're very close. Now, an acknowledgement that for quite some time, they've been getting away with impersonating the Pope and using CGI and what have you, was shown with this that clarified that a little bit, okay? But we were told ultimately it's going to be when the passing happens, even though it's going to herald a lot of changes to both the church and our world, they're going to be changes that eventually people are going to be very happy with and comfortable with. And then looking ahead, I got the cards showed us some information. First of all, okay, that it's going to be difficult for people to reconcile the truths they finally learn about what has happened. There's been some readiness done with all the pre-scandals and what have you. So the groundwork's been laid, but still, as people have to reconcile that they've been taught some things that were true that weren't, or that were only partially true, it's going to be hard for some people to reconcile old faith and new facts, but it can be done. It can be done. It will be done. And ultimately, they're going to find that there's some hidden blessings in that, maybe a closer relationship in this changed faith field. Okay. We are also given some comfort that the Queen of Pentacles showed up again, and the Empress card. So lots of wonderful, loving female energy, just showing that that's going to come back into balance. And the imbalance of only having a masculine dominated hierarchy and belief system is going to go have some balance to it. I'm not saying it's going away. I'm just going to say because it's not, but into balance. Now, I see that being fought in our everyday world. I see that in the fact that they are trying to, there's a war on women. I don't know if you see it, but I do, as they try to train males to find other males attractive once they've altered their appearance enough. And I think this is part of that last desperate effort on the part of the cabal, the deep state, the Luciferians, to maintain their imbalance of toxic masculine, divine. I don't want to say divine masculine, but they have made it toxic. There's nothing wrong with masculinity. We need it. It needs to be in balance in our lives, in ourselves, what have you. We need to have that balance, and we haven't had it. And as they lose their foothold of control on this earth, I see one of those things is part of their effort is that trying to make true feminine energy irrelevant. And thank you, it's not working. It is having some effect. There is some. And that's why we need to be so careful with our children and let them know it's okay to find the opposite gender attractive. It's absolutely okay. And it's okay to not fear traditional values, because it's not uncool. It's not wrong. Okay. You don't have to be different to be right. You have to be right to be right. Okay. Well, okay. So we looked at the Pope, and it looks like indeed with some changes coming up in our world, this one may be the last one. If they have another one, it's not going to be a genuine, it's going to be an imposter, because just there's no other way to go about it. In my opinion, that's a Laura's view thing. And the tarot cards didn't teach me anything that made me feel differently. And it looks like the announcement of his passing is going to happen soon. And it's going to herald some big changes within that faith community that they will struggle with, but come away stronger and ultimately happier with. So that's it for this video. I thank you so much for your time and your attention. I don't take you for granted ever. And this, for the rest of this Memorial Day weekend and always, I wish you love and light and everything bright. Bye.